Qualifying for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix was on earlier today, guys, and as always here on the channel, I'm going to round up the 5 things that we learned, the 5 main highlights from the qualifying session at Imola earlier today. So let's dive in, guys. So we had a pair of nasty crashes in Q1, the first of these being for Yuki Tsunoda. Now, typically I said coming into this one that those top 10 positions during the Grand Prix are very much on lockdown at this point. The Red Bulls, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari and the Williams, they're going to qualify in the top 10 pretty much every single time, and of course have those places on lockdown. However, as usual, I was proven wrong pretty much straight away, as Yuki sort of had a really nasty crash in Q1, and because of that he didn't take any further part in that. His teammate Max Verstappen had a very good day up in P2, more about him very soon, but yeah, disappointing for Tsunoda. He's going to have a really tough job to be able to get through the pack and get some points tomorrow, something that, you know, you kind of do expect from a second Red Bull driver, but we'll see what happens with him. The main thing is that he's okay. Franco Colapinto as well, he is thankfully okay. The second thing that we learned after, again, another pretty nasty crash, this time at the end of Q1, a red flag actually bringing out the end of this session. Now, Colapinto actually managed to get through to Q2. Not a bad effort in all honesty, particularly for his first qualifying session back in Formula 1. Of course, he didn't take any kind of part in Q2 because he was, you know, his car was destroyed in Q1. But yeah, again, thankfully he was alright. I think it was just after the Tamburello chicane where he crashed. So yeah, that'd bring up the end of the session. But he qualified in P15, which honestly, regardless of that crash, if you just kind of discount that crash, I don't think that's a bad effort at all. I really don't. However, a bad effort definitely has to go to Ferrari. I mean, I said in my free practice review that they were really struggling. I said they were not looking good. My God, was I right about this one. P11, P12, neither Ferrari into the top 10. That is downright disgraceful. The Tifosi are going to be fuming at that. Yeah, they'll probably get points from there, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. This is not the fault of the drivers. Clearly, there is an inherent problem when it comes to the pace of that car. The brakes, again, most likely being the big issue. That's what there was big issue on Friday anyway. Both Leclerc and Hamilton complaining over the radio about the lack of consistency and power from their brakes. And unfortunately, it did rear its ugly head once again at Ferrari's true home race. They are going to need a miracle tomorrow. So with 2 Ferraris out, with a Red Bull out, who was taking their places in the top 10 in Q3? Incredibly, Aston Martin. Aston Martin pulled off an absolute blinder here. Who would have thought that the medium tyres, which are supposed to be slower over one lap, would be quicker for them than the softs? I don't know what actually made them think this would work, but it did. Both Aston Martins into the top 10, and into the top 10 well as well. Fernando Alonso lines up P5. Lance Stroll, credit to him, P8. Really good day. Unbelievable. I don't know if some upgrades have really clicked with them. I don't know if it's just the tyres or what, but for whatever reason, on the yellow shod tyres, they absolutely are looking quick. And Alonso finally might get his first points this season. I am praying for him. I am absolutely praying for him. A driver of his caliber, a double world champion, not being able to score points in the first 6 rounds of the season, that is just downright terrible. Is it going to be 7? Well, on this evidence, no, it will not be. But they've got to go make the finish. He's looked close to scoring points, but you know, wild Liam Lawson made sure that didn't happen at the Miami Sprint. So we'll see what happens with him. So what happened at the top? Max Verstappen, I've already mentioned him. He was in second. Who was on pole? Piastri or Norris? Well, of course it was Piastri. Of course it was Piastri. Norris, my word, man. I'm sorry, I can't not describe him as a bottle job. He's absolutely bottled it again. P4. You could sort of forgive it if he was P3 with how good Verstappen has been over one lap, how tight those margins are. And again, nothing to take away from George Russell. He's having an incredible season, but he managed to outqualify. I think he outqualified him on the mediums. The mediums working well somehow on that Mercedes as well for some reason. I don't know how they're managing to do that. But yeah, Oscar Piastri took pole position, from I think it was less than half a tenth of a second ahead of Max Verstappen. Really great battle battle between the two of them. They'll be lining up on the front row. That could get spicy into turn one. Those two have had some pretty big confrontations so far this season. Piastri so far coming out on top, so I'll be looking for him to get the elbows out to try and stop Verstappen taking the lead around lap 1. But yeah, Norris, I mean, you know, it's just not good enough, man. He said it is what it is, but what it is not good enough. Simple as that. So we'll see what happens. He's got a big job on to be able to actually recover it. He needs to get at least P2 tomorrow. I think that'd be a good result in the circumstances. But man, you got to stop Piastri, because if he wins tomorrow, that is 4 wins in a row. And only one I believe only one driver in the history of Formula One has ever scored 4 victories in a row and not gone on to win the championship in that year. And I believe that was Sir Lewis Hamilton back in 2016. But aside from that, it's never happened before. Now, Formula One seasons are longer than they've ever been before. There's a lot of different factors that could help out Norris when it comes to that stat. And it has happened before in the case of Lewis Hamilton. I know it did in 2016. I don't think it's happened since. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It really, I mean, you don't want to say the championship battle's over because the gap isn't that big. You could have a mechanical failure for Oscar Piastri, but right now the guy is on an absolute rampage. Someone described him in my comments recently as the Terminator, and I can see why. He is absolutely, clinically, coldly finishing out these races, just ticking them off one by one. He's the new Iceman, some people are saying. He's the new Professor, some people are saying. But you have your thoughts in the comments below, guys. I want to hear what you have to say. What were your main highlights of qualifying? Alonso getting P5. Fair play. Aston Martin really doing well this race. We'll see if they can hold it for a double points finish on Sunday. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today, guys. See you very soon.